a 9-8 by Leah Moreno. And as for Penn, they will wrap up the vault with a 48-9-2-5, led by Kirsten Belkoff and her 9-8-7-5. So we'll come back with the second rotation momentarily. UNH will head over to the vault, and Penn on the bars when we come back from the Palestra in Philadelphia. Back at the Palestra in Philadelphia, a narrow edge for UNH over Penn after one rotation. UNH on bars, a 49-1, tying their second best score of the season on that event, and Penn just shy of that 49, 48-9-2-5 on vault. So now Penn goes over to bars, and UNH to vault. Let's take a look at the scores from the first rotation. UNH on bars with 3 9-8-5s. Kennedy Brown, JC Whitehead, and Kylie Gorgani. Leah Moreno with a 9-8 as well, and the other counted scores, Summer Simpkins with a 9-7-5. Penn led on vault by Kirsten Belkoff, 9-8-7-5. Ariana Agarwala had a 9-8. There's the UNH scores on bars.
Yeah, really, I mean, Kylie Gorgani did not quite stick her dismount, but just really textbook technique, legs together on everything, all of those little details. She does such a wonderful job.
And see how they wrapped up, too, with the twin 9-8-5s after Bollier's fall.
Yeah.
Take a look at Penn on vault and their scores from the first rotation.
And Kirsten Belkoff, really the highlight of the Penn rotation for me, with that really difficult stuck Yurchenko half. Really difficult because of that blind landing, and got rewarded for it 9-8-7-5, so really nice to see there as well.
She led with that 9-8-7-5. Ariana Agarwala a 9-8. Rose DeBarberi a 9-7-7-5. Skylar Kuriko in her return to the lineup with a 9-7-5, and Marissa Lassiter, the other counted score, 9-7-2-5. So Penn to bars and UNH to vault. Let's start with talking about UNH on vault. They're going to do almost all Yurchenko fulls, but Kylie Gorgani training a 1.5.
Yeah, and you know, when we talked to Coach Brooke Ayat about that, she said, you know, we're going to see how it goes. We really need that consistency in the lineup, but is something that we might see, for example, at a conference championship, or, you know, if she qualifies to regionals. Speaking of regionals, you know, I think both of these teams are currently on the outside looking in. While it is mathematically possible that they could qualify, I think unlikely that they could qualify, but still there is the opportunity for individuals to qualify to NCAA regionals. So Kylie Gorgani, certainly an athlete, I think, that could do that.
And she'll be in the anchor spot on vault for UNH.
And looking at Kennedy Brown there, just some replays from the first rotation here, and Campbell Marr, this full on. Again, I've seen her better control that landing, but really cool vault.
This was Ariana Agarwala. She had the leading score of 9-8, or the second score of 9-8. Belkoff led at 9-8-7-5.
And that full turn into the double back, popular combination, because if you do not do there's an up to the level requirement. If you do not do a DRE dismount, you have to connect it in combination, so that full pirouette into double back, a common combination.
We're getting a look at Marissa Lassiter warming up on bars. Penn will be on bars when we come back, and UNH on vault. Take a quick break, come right back to the Palestra in Philadelphia. Back at the Palestra, here's Larissa Biet about set to lead off on vault for UNH. They have a narrow lead after one rotation against Penn.
And doing this popular full twisting Yurchenko. Comes in short there. That's that low chest position I was talking about. Again, didn't quite get the block that she needed off the table to get that rotation around.
She was a late lineup sub-in. Serena Mullen originally listed in the leadoff, and Biet was the first alternate, so being pressed into competition action to lead off for UNH on vault. Sarah Kenefick will lead off on bars for Penn. an apparatus for them. They've been consistently in the mid 48s. They really peaked their last time they faced UNH, 49.075, their best score this year.
You see her just giving herself some mental cues there, or some verbal cues as well. I like to talk to myself before a routine when I was a gymnast as well, so I feel that.
Need something for a mental reset. This is a fun routine too. She will finish off with a double twist, which is a really hard dismount, challenging angle.
Yeah, and Tkachev there, I would have liked to see more height, some leg separation in that pack salto as well, but she's going for a lot of difficulty here. And here's that dismount you talked about, the full turn into the double twist. So cool, she nailed that landing. Old school dismount, that double twist, we don't see that very often.
Yeah, not many are doing a double twist off bars, and you mentioned the connection earlier in the routine, a D plus D skill connection early on, so it's a tough routine from start to finish.
Yeah. Yeah, just some form breaks throughout that routine, but the dismount was really a highlight for me.
Maya McDonald will be in the number 2 spot on vault for UNH.
And she does a Yurchenko half. So we'll see if, like Belkov, she can get the stick. Oh, she missed her block. She was crunched on the table, and by that I mean she had bent elbows and so wasn't able to get that push off the table that she really needed.
And remember, she's coming off shoulder surgery from the off season as well. Might that affect you in your approach and your block off?
You know, I think that is one of the things in terms of getting that, the power there does really come from your shoulders. So we're moving to bars now.
Marissa Lassiter in the 2 spot for Penn.
And I talked about her power on vault, and the interesting thing is you can really see that on bars as well. Bars, not the event that we typically think about folks showcasing their power, but I like the big release moves. I like how she works bars.
Looks like we've got that first score in on bars as well for Penn. 9-7 appears to be the score for Sarah Kennefic. Here's Marissa Lassiter.
Nice first handstand. But she would have caught a little bit close on that Jaeger, but keeps moving, no problem. And gearing up, full twisting, double back. Doesn't quite stick it, but again, really nice dynamics in that dismount.
You can see, I think, early on through 2 events for her, why Kirsten Becker's so high on her.
Yeah, she's got really great qualities. Love the power that she brings to this team.
2 scores in on vault for UNH. Here is Robin Kelly.
And a nice rebound for them. She does land kind of stutter step on those lines. Those lines new this year in NCAA gymnastics. And those are there for guidance. The way that the rule is written is those are there to guide the judges on whether the athlete was square on the table. There are not specific deduction amounts for those lines like there are on floor. And if the NCAA technical committee is listening, I think there should be. If we're going to have the lines, we should assign value to when somebody steps out, but they have not done that yet. So it's basically at the judge's discretion. That being said, she got nice dynamics in that vault, good height off the table.
Is that, in your view, from the committee, kind of a baby steps maneuver to add the lines but not have a hard and fast rule?
Yeah, probably, because I think that there have been some controversies over stuck vaults that were, for example, over to the side, and that is an element of lack of control, even if you are perfect on landing. And I would say, in general, I would like to see judges taking more deductions, for example, in pre-flight, focusing on those other elements of the vault besides just did you stick the landing. So probably an effort in that. We'll watch the space if they, make that if they specify that more in future.
Before Kristen Kuhn goes on bars for Penn, quick score update and correction. Sarah Kennefic, a 9.55. And the score's in thus far for UNH on vault. They've got a little bit of bounce back work to do. 9.425 from Maya McDonald and a 9.4 from Larissa Biette. So
yeah.
a lot of work to do in the last 4 spots, or I guess the last 3 spots now in the lineup after Robin Kelly just went into 3.
Yeah, as we discussed, you know, really just not getting when you're crunched on the table, you don't get that block, you really can't get those twisting vaults around, and so kind of they tend to, even if you keep them to your feet, they tend to kind of go in that 9.5-ish range.
And not to get ahead of ourselves too much, but based on the early scores, it probably means we're less likely to see Kylie Gorgani break out that 1.5 today.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to do it today. I think that is more something that's likely in the Eagle Championships or regionals towards the end of the season.
And Kristen Kuhn about ready to go for Penn on bars. Really unique combo to start off. Tkachev to the Pack Salto.
Yeah, and one of the things I think we're going to look for here is if she can keep her legs together on the Pack Salto, because it's really tricky when you're connecting these two elements. You've just hopefully caught the Tkachev, and you're in transition. So hard to keep those legs together. So let's see if she can do that here.
That's going to be her very first connection in this routine.
And here she goes. That's the Tkachev, clean leg separation on that Pack Salto. But as you mentioned, difficult combination, and rocks that handstand on the low bar. Maybe even arched it a little bit.
She'll finish with a full in.
Nice technique on that full in. I think one of her teammates just smacked her in the face, congratulating her. Classic gymnastics move there. But yeah, she just has really nice dynamics. I would have liked to see her sink her heels in a little bit on that stick, but beautiful in the air.
And that'll set up for Alyssa Bollier on vault.
And just came in short on that, has to take that hop forward. The hops forward are, deductions are taken more severely than, for example, a hop or step back when they are out of the Yurchenko full, because basically what that's saying is you've under-rotated the vault. So obviously judges would prefer to see that you're fully rotating the vault and maybe have a little bit of additional power. But she did do a good job to minimize that deduction and kind of take that small hop forward.
Quick score update, by the way. Marissa Lassiter with a 9.7 on bars for Penn, so 2 scores in for them. Kennefic had a 9.55, Sarah Kennefic that is. 3 scores in on vault for UNH. Larissa Biette with a 9.4, Maya McDonald 9.425, Robin Kelly with a 9.7. Carly Oniki getting ready for Penn. She's in the 4 spot for the Quakers.
Pretty first handstand, does the Tkachev as well. Didn't get a lot of turnover in that Tkachev. Didn't quite get her hips around quick enough, and I think that's what caused the fall there.
See how she bounces back from that. Just going to re-chalk and get back to it. Oniki, a freshman from Pleasanton, California. Competed 2 events for Penn so far this year. Bars has been the better of the 2 for her.
Getting back on track here. Nice dynamics in that double layout. Too bad about that Tkachev, as I said, just didn't get the height and the turnover that she needed, but she is very capable on bars.
And coming off of a good score for Penn in the 3 spot, Kristen Kuhn with a 9.875 that currently leads the pack in bars, besting the trio of 9.85s by UNH. Gracie Mowers.
A nice Yurchenko half. Didn't quite get the distance that we saw from Belkoff that got that 9.875 from Penn, but really nailed that landing. And that's one that they needed. Yeah, great air awareness, knew exactly where she was.
It's been a shaky vault rotation for UNH. Couple scores under 9.5. Robin Kelly then bouncing back with a 9.7. Alyssa Bollier gets a 9.625. This will be Skylar Kuriko for Penn on bars. Coming back in the lineup today on both vault and bars. She was an all-arounder before the ankle roll, and I'm sure Penn wants to get her back there, but taking it easy, bringing her back on 2 events.
Yeah, and I think that's smart. You know, they do have, there's still a couple of weeks left in season, and then they've got GECs. That is their big goal for the season, is GECs. And I gotta say, talking to Coach Becker, she is very honest about, very ambitious about, she wants Penn to qualify 2 regionals as a team. And if they did that, I believe they would be the first Ivy League team to ever do it. It's not gonna happen this year, but they are on an upward trajectory, and I love the ambition.
Speaking of ambition, Skylar Kuriko starting off with a ray in this routine.
Nice job there. Short on that handstand out of it.
Full into finish.
Doesn't yet, ended with that chest down and had some piked position through some of her handstands and giants, but great ray. That was the highlight of the routine for me, that toe on Tkachev.
That's an ease skill and a really tough way to start off. Kylie Gorgani, remember she's trained the 1.5, likely to see the full here.
And you can see she's just got power to spare there. Really nice job of getting that height, that flare out, the nice body position in the air. So just one of those, I think one of the challenges when you are training the 1.5 and you complete the full is that you're used to rotating more, and so you're not necessarily as able to stick the full. You see that she takes that big bounding step back, but gorgeous in the air.
We do have a score update for UNH on vault as well. Gracie Mowers with a 9.825. So that's just shy of Kirsten Belkoff's 9.875 that currently leads the pack on vault. We'll see what Kylie Gorgani gets for that full. Carly Oniki 8.95. Penn will want to drop that score on bars, which means they'll be counting Sarah Kenefic's 9.55. And McKaylee Marr will wrap up on bars for Penn. She had a 9.85 at the Ivy Classic this past week.
And this is the person you want in your anchor position. You know, if I were Coach Becker, I would want to have her here. You know, she's so pretty. You're gonna show off the similar line on beam and bars, really pretty toe point, really nice handstand work.
She was very close to winning the Ivy title on bars, had it locked up until Reagan Walker of Yale in the last rotation through a 9.95.
Yeah, and Reagan Walker, program record at Yale, absolute phenomenal bar worker. But so is Marr.
And she has a 9.925 as her career high.
Pretty first handstand. That's what I mean. The lines. Let's see if she can keep her legs together. Just a little separation. And I have seen her hit that bail to handstand cleaner. Gearing up for her double layout here. I thought she swung it out a little bit, but she's so experienced, she could really just control that landing.
And that's an upgrade for her. She had been dismounting with a double back, trained really hard, Kirsten Becker said, to get to that double back.
Yeah.
Here's another look.
And yeah, she did. Now that I see on replay, I was right. She did fling. She this time release a little bit, but as I mentioned, I love to see that when athletes can react in real time. She was able to get that second flip around, so no problem there.
There's a lot of changes in that routine, upgrading from the double back to the double layout. That Maloney to overshoot, something she worked on during the COVID year as well. Now anchoring for Penn on bars. We do have all the scores in besides Mars for Penn on bars. 9.725 is what Skylar Kuriko has received. And on vault, just waiting on the score for Kylie Gorgani, and she gets a 9.675. Sarah Gazdak is going to exhibition for Penn on bars. Listed as the first exhibition. We may see Emma Davies as well. Gazdak, a sophomore. Working on a new combo in this routine too. She'll start off with Tkachev to an immediate overshoot, something she's been working on.
And that's another common way. We talked about that Maloney to bail handstand, but doing a single bar, whether it's Tkachev or Jaeger, the most common ones, to some type of overshoot, another common way to build bonus.
What are you looking for in an exhibition this late in the season from somebody pretty young in this lineup, a sophomore trying to maybe crack the lineup for next season?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, as we get started here, let's check out this combo. The nice job there. Really kept her legs together smoothly through that overshoot. And the toe on, full off on that handstand, but nice routine. She's stoked about that one. And yeah, as we were saying, just, probably unlikely she's going to break the lineup at this point in the season, but good for them to build that depth for next season.
That's the type of clean exhibition you're looking for at this stage.
Exactly, yeah. And then they've got the stick Ivy, of course, because they are part of the Ivy League. So the stick paraphernalia, obviously so important in NCAA gymnastics.
UNH had the chain, and Penn's got the Ivy.
Double layout there, really nice way to cap off their scoring rotation.
We'll wait to see if Emma Davies is going to exhibition on bars for Penn. We're given to understand that there will be no exhibitions on vault for UNH, which seems pretty clear since they're warming up already on floor. That's where they'll go for the next rotation. And Emma Davies will exhibition for Penn on bars. She was just announced. Score in for McKaylee Marr, 9.825. So thus far, we've got our event title winners through the first two rotations. Kristen Kuhn wins on bars for Penn, besting the trio of 9.85s we saw from UNH. And Kirsten Belkoff wins on vault for Penn, as we get a look at Emma Davies exhibitioning on bars. Boy, that's tough.
Yeah, the timing of the release and catch, so important, and I think she just let go a little bit early there.
The good news, it's an exhibition, so something to work on. What are these conversations like after a fall, trying to clean things up?
Yeah, I think that it depends on the situation. Sometimes if you have like an awkward fall, the coaches are just checking, like, do you want to continue? Because if not, it's just an exhibition. It's not going to affect the team score, just move on. And now just kind of checking with her. But otherwise, just giving cues like, all right, you got this. Kind of restart the routine. You want to finish strong. And it looked like she was fine on that. So I think she's going to, just continue. Probably going to repeat, Off on that handstand. Oh, gosh. So we'll see what she does here. But she was off from that handstand when she did the half pirouette into bars is one of those events where the skills can really cascade into one another. So if you're off on one skill, it really affects the trajectory of the next skill.
It's like a rhythm event, you
Exactly,
might say. Sure.
exactly. Because unlike beam or even floor, you don't have those moments where you're just like, okay, pause before you do the next skill. Every skill is building on something else in the routine. And now, yeah, good decision. You know, they're just deciding not to repeat it again. Just going to try and get her confidence back up on this dismount. Full pirouette into the double back. Good for her. Hey, sticks the landing.
So Emma Davies bouncing back in the last exhibition for Penn. And that takes us through 2 rotations at the Palestra, with Penn now jumping out in front, 97-6. The Quakers score, UNH at a 97-3-5. We will head to the 3rd rotation when we return. UNH on floor, Penn to beam when we come back from the Palestra. Here's a look at what happened in rotation number 2 with Penn on bars and UNH on vault.
Yeah, and you know, seeing that full pirouette into the double back dismount there. And here's that huge full twisting double back for Marissa Lasker there. Taking a look at some of the vaults from New Hampshire, they did not get Kylie Gorgani a highlight here. Look at how high she gets in the air. That scoot back, but great dynamics. And taking a look here at McKaylee Marr, that double layout, really pretty. And of course, that full pirouette into the double back, I do think that affected some of the Penn gymnasts